Hey mates, good afternoon. How are we all doing? Here's a part 2 video. I'm over by a known attraction called Island 33, which is actually directly across from this channel. So now we've actually had the chance to go a bit further south. So now I finally don't have to battle the wind. But as I've progressed further south, noticeably more mangroves have started to appear. And there's a reason for that. So since we went further south among the Peace River, we're now even closer to the Charlotte Harbor, as I like to say it. And of course, the Charlotte Harbor has brackish water, which is a mix of salt and fresh water. So pretty much, as soon as you start seeing mangroves, that is a telltale sign that the salinity or the salt content in the water is increasing. So that's always a cue to look for, you know, in terms of the water quality. But aside from that, while I was here, I noticed two particular plants while, you know, just strolling about. So I'll start with the first one, and it's this guy right in front of me. This is something known as the Marlberry. Now, this is indeed a native to Florida, and it's actually been found in other parts of the Caribbean. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like to say Caribbean more than Caribbean, because to me, Caribbean just sounds more tropical and flowing to me. That's just my opinion, though. Needless to say, the Marlberry is kind of like on the borderline between being considered a shrub and a tree, because sometimes there can be cases where the Marlberry can grow as high as 20 feet, thus designating it to be a tree, but a very short one at that. But oftentimes, we really consider them to be a shrub. Though the time has already passed, the Marlberry is actually considered to be a very attractive plant, especially for our pollinators, because each cluster of berries that you're seeing, those were once flowers. And those flowers are like a bright white color. So you could say it really, really stands out. And they do produce a lot of pollen. And here's the thing, mates. What's fascinating is, you know, once the pollen has been deposited to this particular plant, it has allowed growth to occur, the fruit. And essentially, the fruit is like the female part of the plant. I mean, think of it this way. You know, the seed is basically like the sperm, right? In this berry here. And then what surrounds that seed is, of course, the fruit that we enjoy to eat. But what surrounds that seed, it's essentially the ovary. So the same concept applies to even human biology, because that's what happens during, you know, reproduction, is the sperm is covered in the ovary. And the same exact thing applies to even plant biology. Quite amazing. Needless to say, they are indeed edible, but they're like a last resort type of option, just because the berries aren't really that tasty. But aside from that, the leaves on the other hand, they do have a glossy appearance, and they've actually been highly desired by Native American tribes, especially the Seminole. What they would oftentimes do with these leaves is they would use it as a tobacco extender. So they would dry up these leaves and use it to extend the length of the tobacco. Kind of like extra padding, more or less. So that's a piece on the Marlberry. So let's move on to the next one. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm actually going to break it up into a second video, because I feel if I include both plants in one video, it's just going to be way too long. Because I know a lot of our attention span is very minimal. It's the truth. So, watch my third video, because this is another common plant that we also see in Florida especially. So alright you guys, take care. Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care folks. See ya.